There is a popular saying in leadership that if you think you're leading and there's nobody following you, you are only going on a walk. On this platform, you are going to learn principles of leadership. You are going to encounter different leaders. You are going to learn about how you can grow as a leader, how you can make an impact. My name is Samuel Eyim, and I'm the host for the leadership platform. I am a leadership coach, a lawyer by profession, a John C. Maxwell certified coach. I have been in corporate life in senior positions for several years, and now I run the Center for Transformational Leadership, where we train and coach leaders to become better leaders. And I invite you to go on a journey with us as we discuss the subject of leadership in the coming weeks.
This and every Saturday, you have opportunity to ask questions, share your views on important leadership matters.
Hi, dear friend. My name is Samuel Eyim, and I'm the CEO for the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I'm bringing to you the growth journey. We've set aside 15 weeks of growth to help you to be intentional about your growth. Where do you want to reach in your leadership? Which area of your life do you want to grow in? Growth doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, we're going to have a special coaching sessions with you to be able to grow to where you want to grow. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. We're going to help you in all and more within these 15 weeks. Every week we'll have a session with you. This program is limited to only 15 people. We're going to have 15 people for 15 weeks, and we're going to learn 15 great growth lessons on this journey. So make a date with us and see you on the growth journey.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. My name is Samuel Eyim of the Center for Transformational Leadership. I welcome all of you who have made it to this platform at this point. We don't take your presence for granted. We know you have so many other things you could do on Saturday night. And I know that some of you have gone to funerals and weddings, and some of you are having parties and so on and so forth. But those of you who make the time to join us, we appreciate you. We also know that several of you join and you don't introduce yourself. And so we encourage you to please introduce yourself and let us know your name and where you are calling from. And so we will be able to introduce you to the world. Please also go ahead and share the link, like our Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please invite your friends, your mates, in this particular case, your partners, those of you who are married. Listen to this as a family, because this is going to be a great blessing to you, your spouse, and to your family. So we encourage you, every one of you, to get ready and get set, because we're going to have an amazing discussion. Get your questions ready, get your contributions ready. We are going to be together for about 1.5 hours from now. We'll have a great speaker is going to talk he's going to talk for about 30 to 40 minutes. And then you're going to have the rest of the time, 40 to 50 minutes, just to ask questions, to interact, so that you can improve your leadership, improve your life. So we want to encourage you. And as our intro says, we encourage you to be part of our growth journey. It's an amazing journey. And during the program, if we are able, we will share with you some of the things that some of the participants are saying about the growth journey, and so that you would know that people are really, really learning a lot on the growth journey. So join us and let us talk. I believe our speaker is ready, and let us all pray that we get good internet so that he is able to deliver to us. So now that I see my speaker, let me quickly introduce a few of the people who have introduced themselves, and go ahead and introduce yourself. Ofoye Mensah Richard is here. We see you. Douglas Amwatin, we see you from Tema. Conrad Kakraba, thank you for joining. He says, glad to be here. Can't wait to listen to Amos. He's just awesome. And the topic is so relevant. All right. So already we know that we have a great speaker who doesn't need introduction. Ebenezer Ama is here watching us from Heritage Christian University. All right. And Gerard Foucault is here. And Freda. All right. I love that when the families are going to listen to this together. So Gerard and Freda, thank you so much for joining. Collins, and those of you who don't have your spouses, please call them to come and listen, because this is going to be good for all of us. Because both you, the man and the woman, are all leaders. So this is for everybody. So Collins is here. Thank you so much, everyone. All right. So let me just say a few words, although Amos doesn't need introduction. My mentor, John Maxwell, says, if you are good, you don't need a long introduction. And if you are not good, a long introduction will not help you. And we know that Amos is so good, he doesn't need a long introduction. But some of you don't know him, so I will just say a few words. I won't say long introduction, because if I want to talk about Amos, I'm sure that the whole of the period will finish talking about him before the time runs out. So he's Amos Kevin-Annan. He's my brother. He's my friend. And he's a licensed youth minister. And he's a certified life coach and healthy homes advocate. And I love that. He always wants us to underscore that he's a healthy homes advocate. He wants to make sure that every home in Ghana and in the world is healthy. Between 2024 and 2020, he served as the Deputy Youth Director of the Church of Pentecost. Additionally, since 2016, he has worked as a counselor at the Pentecost University College, now Pentecost University at Sotuom. And he has a range of experiences, and he advises different leaders, singles, couples, corporate groups. He has spoken to several corporate groups. We will not be able to mention all of them here. Stanley, he's spoken to SIC managers. He's spoken to international men of the AFSA group. He's spoken to international men at ICGC. He's spoken to about 20 assemblies in ICGC during their youth and singles camp. He's compassionate. He's passionate. And he's a respected voice on relationship matters and on several media, on the radio, on TV, everywhere, in Akan, in English. he's sought after to speak. Um, he's also been mentioned in the top 100 speakers, the top 100 speakers in Ghana by the Ghana Speakers Bureau, and he's been nominated under the Motivation, Religion, and Leadership category for this year's Millennium Excellence Award. I mean, there's so many things we can say about Amos. A few more things that you have to know because he runs a number of clinics. He's the convener of the Creative Couples Conclave, Females in Fellowship Hangouts, Mobilizing Males Initiatives, Singles in 3D Summit, and he's published also 3 books: Becoming a Beauty for His Glory, Master of the Heart, and Doing Dating Decently. I mean, well, I said I wouldn't say much, but this is just a few. And on that note, I just invite Amos to speak to us. Amos, we love you. We appreciate you. You are so welcome to the Leadership Platform.
Thank you very much, and good evening to you, my brother Sam, and your wonderful group at the Leadership Platform. And I know that all the members of CTL are doing very well.
We are
May I
doing very well. Thank you so much for coming.
may I seize this unique opportunity to say Happy New Year to everyone, since this is my first time this year. I am delighted to be sharing this space with you, and I hope that that which I'll be sharing with all of you would become relevant to your life as individuals and to the various professional tracks that you're pursuing, so that whilst you're winning at work, you would not lose at love. Once again, thank you for having me. I am going to share my screen right away, and I pray that that which I share with you would become relevant. So tonight we're looking at how successful leaders win with work and not lose love. It is a very important conversation to have, and for my roadmap, I just want to introduce you to, you can go to my YouTube channel and get some resources for yourself. You can get to my Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter handles to engage after this meeting. Now, Brother Sam mentioned some of the things we do, and on the screens are some of the previous editions. We've been running this particular event for couples for the past 7 years. So you would see them busily working through their notes. It's a very practical, very engaging. These are persons, some of whom are high profile individuals in our society. We've had pilots, we've had media persons, we've had professors in academia, we've had lawyers, we've had medical doctors, business persons, teachers, people from the clergy participating. We've we've had all kinds of persons addressing our couples, and we engage through social activities, interactive workshops, serious prayer sessions are also involved in the things we do, as well as the physical exercise. We call it anopatutu. Anopatutu is a fitness bit, and you would see us all being very sporty. That's my dear wife, Evelyn, and this is the 7th edition. Unfortunately, our rooms are filled up now, so I'm just showing it to you for the purposes of information. But on the other hand, you can join on the virtual platform that we would be outdooring, hopefully Monday, on my social media handles. You buy a voucher, a tech company is going to run that. We don't have the logistics and time to do that, and they have elected to support us in that direction, so that those who are unable to be there physically can join us through the power of the internet. Okay, so tonight, this is where we are: how successful leaders win with work and do not lose with love. Now, for my guidelines, I have 5 clear areas: my preliminary comments and positions, integrating our walk, our work, and our wishes. You know, the way we live our life on daily basis, the work we do, and the aspirations we have need to be integrated together. Now, to integrate that would mean that we must also win wisely and worthy at the workplace. We should be individuals who compromise on work ethics, values, and propositions that the company stands for. We shouldn't lose that, and we need to work wisely so that it's almost like walking a tightrope. That's basically what it is in the workplace. And then also loving and living for the legacy. And for me, the family is the legacy. And where I sit, there's nothing greater than to bequeath to the next generation something worthy of their pursuit and worthy of their life. And so that's basically, I want you all to take time to range these things in order of priorities. The first one is your alma mater, friends, your significant one. I'm using significant one because I don't presume everybody here is married. So significant one will be also for those who are in love relationships like dating, courting, or prospecting. Then child or children. Some of us may have a child, others may have children. Then career, as well as extended family, faith community. I don't presume everybody is Christian, and so I'm using broadly faith community. And then the last one is relationship with God, which is, your source of existence. Can you please arrange them in order of priority? Which comes as number one, and then following to number 8. Please kindly do that. Let's see. So, Brother Sam, am I able to get people to share their first 3, the first 2, and the last one?
Okay, so surely, guys,
Okay.
go ahead and go through the list that um,
You can you can either
Speaker
share
has
it
shared.
as a chat. You can
Yes,
either
it's
share
on
it
the
as a chat,
yeah,
or
it's on the
you can
screen.
speak
Please,
out.
you can share it in the comment section. Just list them in your order of priority, your alma mater, your friends, your significant other, children, career, extended family, faith community, and your relationship with God. We just want to take a few thoughts, share with
Yeah.
us just 1 minute. We give all of you who are connected 1 minute to just share in the comment section how important these are, order of priority. Just align those things and let's see a few of them. Please go ahead and share. All right, because Amos is waiting. Let's see who shares first. Um, like, okay, let me give you a reward. The person who shares first, I'll give you a book. You would have
Wow.
a Joe Maxwell book. So let me see. Let
This
me
is
see.
juicy.
Yes, you get a John Maxwell book. So let me see somebody share. All right, I see Gerard has. Let me see what he has. The first 3: relationship with God; 2, wife; 3, children; and 4, alma mater. All right, so those are his top 4.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
Gerard, you win a book. You see me after that, and then you get your book. All right, but we want more. All right. Sarah says relationship with God, children, extended family. Are you seeing Amos on the screen? On the comment
Not
section, go to
not
the
not
comment
on the
section,
command. Okay.
click the
I'll go
comment
there.
section, and you'll be seeing these things: relationship with God, children, extended family, faith community, family, alma mater. That's Sarah. Haji Alima says children, career, relationship with God. All right. Richmond Ofoe says faith, career, alma mater. All right, Cynthia is just joining us, and so those are the few that
All right.
Kevin you
Thank you very
can
much for
see.
sharing. Okay, so
All
we
right,
can move on now at this point.
good. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, so I can move on. All right. Now, I have 2 questions here. How many of us here spend majority of our waking hours, that is between Monday and Friday, working outside home? I'm sure many of us would identify with that. The second question is, how many of us recognize our need for balancing work and love? Are you at a place where you realize, you reckon that there's a need to bring a critical balance between how much of yourself you give to work and how much of yourself and your time you give to love? Okay. Now, in this life, I need you to get this reflective exercise. Do you have what I call any if onlys in this life, or any what ifs in this life? So let me give you an example. If only I had more time. It's a very common refrain that I hear in counseling and in life coaching. What if in this life I suddenly lose my health? I decided to take a bit of rest because I had to speak at someone's wedding. And when I came back, I decided to take some rest. Can you imagine when taking the rest, I couldn't wake up? What if I couldn't wake up? What if when I woke up, suddenly I couldn't see? In this life, I want you to remember there are if onlys in this life for all of us to consider. And there are what ifs in this life for all of us. And it's important we give those thoughts and don't imagine, faintly even, that these things can't happen to us. I know individuals who suddenly lost their speech. My dad, for example, was one of them. Yeah, before he passed away. What if onlys? If only I could spend a little more time with my wife. If only I could spend a little more time with my children. If only I could put in a little more effort to achieve some great endeavors. Now, it's important to underscore that relationship is a daring endeavor. It requires brave heart to be able to pursue relationship. And it's also no secret that great relationships and marriages require work. Unfortunately, my observation is that telenovelas have made the commencement of marital journey look fun-filled. But keeping the bond healthy and aflame will require consistent best effort of the couple in question, be it outside marriage yet or within marriage. So there's a need for each one of us to start looking at how we are winning at work but losing at love. How are we doing that? How are we winning the work and losing love? What makes career persons win love but also lose at work? Because it's also possible to have the converse. I want to state that the most important career decision you will ever make, or I would have made in this life, is to choose a significant one. I don't know what your thoughts are about that, but it's a huge leap of faith. It's a deep trust that we make. And these things are scary because if you look at the weight on all of us in terms of the work we do, we need to now pause and look at beyond our anniversaries, beyond our birthdays and wedding anniversaries or some significant days in our lives. I want us to pay attention to these 4 days: the International Women's Day, which is March, the Mother's Day, which is in May, the Father's Day, which is in June, and the International Men's Day, which is in November. These are significant days that, as career persons, we can note them, observe them, celebrate them, commemorate them, find time to speak to the persons we cherish and admire in these kinds of celebratory modes. Now, it's been said that if we don't learn from others' mistakes, we learn to make their mistakes. And I want you to pause and probe a little into this because we all are confronted with the nemesis of others that scare us or stare us in the face. And the prospects of repeating same is real. It is real. It is real. Now, Hillary Clinton, we know her, former Secretary of State of the United States, and the wife of a former president, Bill Clinton, made a very profound statement, and I agree 100% with her. She said, and I quote, "Don't confuse having a career with having life." It means that people should understand that there is a distinction between the career you're pursuing and the life that you must live. One woman came to me one time and said, "Tell my husband he's giving all his youthful strength and energy and time to his vocation. But when he retires, it shall be the two of us in this place." It means that after his retirement, that's when life will begin to bite him, because the wife is now positioning herself for that kind of unfortunate pursuit of their new phase of love. I read the Business Insider and it struck me. This was published 2016 in March on the 10th and posted 2:57 p.m. Written by one Jacqueline Smith. And it resonated with the kind of work I do, interacting with people within the corporate space. And this particular sharing, I've done it in many, many, many corporate spaces. And she raised 16 signs that shows that your job is destroying your marriage. So I just put them on the screen and take note of them. So because of those who may be elsewhere later to watch, I'll just go through them very quickly. You put work priorities above your relationship. You're too tired from work to spend time with your spouse. You have nothing to talk to them about except work. Your spouse has become your career therapist. You arrive late for important personal events or frequently cancel them because of work. Your partner clamps up when you ask them about their day. Your spouse's body language appears defensive. You argue more with your spouse. You have less patience with your spouse and vice versa. You don't feel like socializing. You spend little time with your spouse because you are always busy with work. You argue about new things. You notice he or she doesn't listen to you when you speak anymore. You start making more sacrifices to make everyone happy. You realize that you are happier at work than you are at home and feel more engaged with your work colleagues than with your spouse. And for me, the number 15 is a very common thing I see in managing marriages in this part of the world. Your spouse uses sarcasm to convey their true feelings. Now, these 16 pointers are crucial. So if you want to go and read the full article, I'll put it back again. Is the Business Insider 16 signs your job is destroying your marriage. I haven't said this. So what we need right now is how to guard against imbalance. My duty perpetually 24/7 is to ensure I'm not imbalanced. Now, Annie Prolix says, and I quote, "Balance is not something you find, it is something you create." To be able to create time and to find balance, it is not something that will fall like manna, the proverbial manna. It is something we must work diligently to ensure that we set systems in place for it to happen. We are a generation in need of working habits and loving heart equilibrium. This is my personal observation because I have seen that a lot of individuals are doing what the scripture, for instance, tells us not to do. It says a false balance is an abomination. Now, if a false balance is abomination, it means that we need working habits and loving heart equilibrium. How do we get it done? I was in Rwanda to run a retreat for couples from 18 nations, and I asked the women to give me an idea what love looks like to them. And look at what some of them mentioned. Spend more time with me, keep me updated on your activities, offer me a nice gift, appreciate and respect me, and love me alone, help me with housework without my asking. The second group of 9 from the 18, I divided them 9, and they said, touch me without thinking about the end product, give me caring attention, serve me without being asked, give me undivided attention, offer me loving, truthful sharing. Strangely, for the men one, there was a jumble, but I think it's clearer here now, as I can see. The men had 2 groups as well, and they had the lion and the Simba, which is also lion. Quite interesting. They start off by saying we were asking them to tell us how it feels to be respected, what they think respect meant. Don't talk back in a harsh manner. Taking into consideration what I am saying, give attention and time to me, make an adjustment in your attitude, cooking a meal that I like, The second group comes with active listening, speak honorably, respectful words and tone. The third, loving correction, not critical condemnation. Take note, they put it into brackets, not in public. No comparisons, mutual agreement, consultations before decisions. And number six, no unrealistic expectations. These are from persons who had come from 18 different countries doing a group session, 9 each. So you look at the wives, they had the doves and the cheetah, and the husbands had lion and Simba, which basically is lion, lion. Now, families under pressure must know how to seize the moment because time is luxury. You cannot have more than 24 hours. So I'm going to give some pointers to some areas of learning within the family, daily chores, daily routines, and scheduled activities and unplanned activities so that you can make the most out of it. First, families under pressure know that family moments are great times of learning and growth. So, family moments, anytime you're together as a family, it's time for learning, it's time for growing. Fellowship times, whatever faith expression you have fellowship times. It strengthens the bond and the faith. Family trips and travels, they are a source of great family adventure. Family fun times, if you haven't had fun times like using games, indoor, outdoor games, they create lasting memories. I recall even right now where I'm on the fifth floor of my life journey, how my dad will roar. This morning I said it on City FM, our regular program. He will roar like a lion. We found it very amusing, exciting, and we were thrilled by our dad doing that. But he couldn't have done that in his Nestle office where he worked before his death and his retirement and ultimate death. You know, and he would bend down and be on all four limbs and will sit at his back and he will pretend to be a horse. Kucha, 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 and will be galloping. It created lasting memories in our head. I used to play playing cards with my dad, and it still kept us connected. Planned outings, walking or attending events create relaxation. Shopping, marketing also reinforces budgeting and discipline. So impulsive buying and all those things, they are controlled. Now rest provides rejuvenation, relief, revival, and renewal. And so we don't have to downplay some of these opportunities when they're giving to us. I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, we don't have a lot of time. Well, you can create. Look at the things I'm pointing you to. Family visitations, for instance, render us human and shows our humane side as people. Reunions actually strengthen and deepen bonds. Then culture and traditions are age-old and trusted means for the transfer of best practices. So our culture, our traditions are means through which we transmit to the young generation whilst we bequeath to them best practice. So how to carry yourself, how to relate with others, and all that. So those pointers are very important for you. Moments together, fellowship times, travel and trips, fun times, planned outings, shopping, rest, visitations, reunions, and culture and traditions. These are all areas where we can engage and add and optimize our love expression. Now, Khalil Gibran made this profound statement: work is love made visible. So, the work I do can be an expression of my love, and my love can be seen in the work I do as well. Now, so it's important that we all do not downplay the work our spouses do and the work we ourselves do. Nobody should, you know, reduce the value of that. Nobody should dismiss the importance of work because we need work. We need work to get solvency in order to be able to supply. But my painful bit is this. What I see a lot of career folks do now is they are giving love leftovers to their spouses and loved ones, and others are also giving rusty respect. I visited the Rhine waterfall in Switzerland, and when you go there, they have these padlocks where persons who promise love and affection to one another would plant a padlock into this barbed wire and throw the key into the Rhine River, which runs across many European cities. And people were just coming there to do that. But look at this, food leftover. Who wants love leftover? Unfortunately, a lot of people are giving love leftovers. We give so much attention and strength and capacity to the work we do, and then we leave the residue of love. Why is that important? Because when it comes to love and relationship, small things are the big things. That is why, as a spouse, as a lover, never tell your lover or your spouse these are trivial matters. The reason why they are important is because they're trivial, and the fact of they being trivial means that they carry weight. But my question is this: in the area of trust, can you be trusted by God? Can you trust yourself? And can your lover trust you? I will recommend this book, great resource. I mean, I'm a student of Steve Covey because I work with a Swedish organization that puts me on a daily diet and monthly diet of Steve Covey's writings. And this one with Rebecca Merrill on trust, the speed of trust. And I always tell people the reason why you buy watches from a certain place is because you trust the source of production. If you don't trust it, there's no way you're going to buy it. And listen to what Steve says: nothing is as fast as the speed of trust. Nothing is as fulfilling as relationship of trust. Nothing is as inspiring as an offering of trust. Nothing is as profitable as the economics of trust. Nothing has more influence than a reputation of trust. So when you lose trust in a relationship, you've lost a big deal. And in relationships today, it's either built on trust or treachery. Both of them are powerful. And I want you as an individual to sit quietly and process these two questions so that you position yourself to renew your commitment by starting: I will do these three things. I will stop these three things, or I will start these three things. It's important to identify three things you will stop doing in order to gain trust. Three things you will start doing to gain trust. Each one of us must protect trust because it is so fragile. It is hard work to gain that reputation of trust, but you can lose it in split seconds. The Greeks render love in 8 different flavors. I like to call it the flavors of love: eros, philia, storge, ludus, mania, pragma, philatia, and agape. And they explain beneath the bigger text. So eros, for instance, is romantic and sexual love. Philia is feeling a part of a team. So like Philadelphia, Philippians, Philippa, Philip, these are, brotherhood, sisterhood renditions. Then storge is love that is expressed within family or close circles. And ludus is the love that we have for fun or exciting love. Then mania is obsessive love. There's positive obsession and there's negative obsession. The positive one is when I have my wife's picture as screensaver on my phone. I indulge her when I have a picture of my family on my desk. That's mania, it's obsession, but it's positive obsession. The negative side is when the obsession becomes too sickening and it's as though you are a new god in the life of the person. Then there is pragma, love that endures. I hear a lot of people talk about, I don't have to endure, I have to enjoy. Well, we'll come to that. I'll explain to you a model that I've been proposing the last 6 years. Then there is philatia, which is self-love. Give yourself thumbs up, pamper yourself, be kind to yourself. Unfortunately, this particular one, I hear people talk about it on radio and TV, and they reduce it into selfishness. But selfishness is not love. Then there is agape, which is love for humanity and contribution to others. Now, you may have heard of Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages, physical touch, time together, gifts, service, and then also words of affirmation. Now, I want you to go online and look for this, the 5 love languages, and do the quiz. You and your lover can do that. It has different renditions: love language for teenagers, love language for men, love language for women, love language for teenagers, and what have you. It's a great resource. I mean, starters to help you to appreciate that we all don't speak the same love dialect. Now, then 6 years ago, I came up with what I call love comes in layers. Why am I bringing this up? Because people only look at the endearing part of love, which is the faith one here, the V. which has to do with connection, chemistry, warmth, comfort, confidence in somebody. That one. So you hear people say, I'm enjoying, I want to enjoy love. But I've come to realize that it's not all enjoyment. Love is not only enjoyed. The first one I want to talk about is the endangering bit of love. Love is a risky endeavor because I love someone. There's no guarantee they will love me in equal measure. There's no guarantee their love that they give will compensate for the love I give to them. Then the second one is the enduring part of love. Love as hard work. There's a need for us to understand that, the basic definition of work that I like to use is effort against resistance. You may be strenuously striving to love a person, but it may be inadequate simply because they can't relate with that kind of love language. My wife's love language is affirmation, mine is service. So clearly, we must have a way of bringing parity and equity to what we're doing, and that is the equilibrium I'm talking about. There's also the endeavoring part of love, which is adventure. It takes you to a place of discovery, new things, and some things that are wow moments for us. And then you can have what a shock moment because it's adventure. I had an adventure to the Kruger National Park in South Africa, the biggest national park in the whole of African continent. And I was amazed. We went through the night trail, and on our return, we found these, lions lying on the street across, and we couldn't move. And the guy who was leading us said, "Oh, they've eaten and they are so lazy, they won't even bother if you get." I said, "Me? That was adventure." The other adventure I had was in Finland, where, right in the northern part of Finland, I had used a roller coaster for the first time in my life. I mean, my tongue was just dropping out of my mouth. When I saw the young people, they were excited. I was just screaming to death, wishing they had stopped it. It's an adventure. Love requires a certain endeavor. Then I found also that there's an expenditure bit of love, which is love comes at a cost. There's no love that comes cheaply. And so my proposition of love comes in layers is these ones. The endangering part of love, which is risky, the enduring part of love, which is hard work, the endeavoring part of love, which is adventure, the expending part of love, which is cost element, and the enduring part, which is the enjoyment many people talk about, which is the connection, the chemistry, the comfort, and the confidence a person has in another. So one of my mentors, Steve Atterburn, who wrote the book Win at Work Without Losing a Love, made a profound statement in that writing. He says, trophies lose their glow quickly without the applause of family and friends. I want to humbly submit to you, may be the best worker in your workplace, but if you take your citation to the home and your wife winks at it, you are dead. It's as good as nothing. If your children don't come around you, my wife is going for, an award ceremony, and she told me, they said only one person can come with me, and so you are coming. I'm going to go there, and when I sit there, the celebration has worth because I am there to be her cheerleader, and I have to garrison our children around, our two daughters, to be there. Now, in a typical home today, we are finding two major broad expressions of home outlooks. The first one is the dysfunctional home, and the second one is the functional home. And I want you to look at your own homes and determine whether you're having a dysfunctional home or a functional home. There are a lot of permutations that indicate this home is dysfunctional. I don't want to go into waxing to technical language and all that. So I have simplified it into two major indicators in a dysfunctional home. First one, the people there are hurting. And secondly, they are unhealthy. Now, in a functional home, there is healing and the people stay healthy. The reason there's healing is because there's hurt that occasion from time to time, and it's not just a glossy picture that they have. And so my question to you tonight is, are you having a functional home or a dysfunctional home? And when you look at this picture, you see the husband and wife are arguing, and the children are saying to themselves, we're fed up. We're tired of what is happening. Now, this is a similitude of a functional home where generations interact and generations connect, and there's that harmony. This is discord, and we don't want that. And so I want to propose that if you're a husband here, be a heaven to your wife, and as a father, be a hero to your children, and much the same way. As a wife, you must be a safety net for your husband, so that, one of the subjects we are going to discuss at our retreat this year is to turn your home into a sanatorium. A sanatorium is the place where we take persons who are mentally deranged or, having mental challenges, like the psychiatric hospital we have after the Holy Spirit cathedrals, around the Holy Spirit Cathedral and Scripture Union Towers. You must create a context in which when your spouse comes home, they heap a sigh of relief. Martin Luther said that the husband must ensure that when he's leaving home, his wife feels sorry that he's leaving. And the wife must create the home in such a way that the husband will hurriedly want to come home. I've just paraphrased what he said. And we need to do that. And I want to share the story of David Cameron and his wife. They had gone to a restaurant in 2012 to eat. And the Camerons, they are creatures of protocol at that time, in 2012 when he was prime minister. And they went with their daughters. Apparently, when they finished, each went into his or her vehicle, and they were driven off by security detail. Unknown to each of them, they had left their small daughter. And so as soon as David got to Downing Street and met his wife and asked, "Where's the little girl, Samantha?" Nancy and Samantha is the name of the wife and the daughter, respectively. And then she says, "Oh, I thought she was with you." And he also said, "Oh, I thought she was with you." Immediately, David goes back to his car and tells them, "Drive me back to the restaurant." When he got there, their daughter was with the chef in the kitchen, instructing the chef what to cook. Beautiful. He takes his daughter and he comes home. Clearly, husband and wife are not accusing each other. Of course, the inner workings of what may have transpired will not be known to us. But here we are winning at work and ensuring that we also do not lose love. So I want to give you some indicators of the concept of true love, and then I'll end there. First and foremost, this guy on the screen, you watch him carefully. He's pulling a cat with his lover on it. Yeah, that is work. But he's also not losing love, because what he's doing will accrue to his love bank account. So the lady's emotional tank is going to be filled, her significance feelings will be accentuated, and the guy will see this as labor of love. So what I'm calling for is labor of love, and to have that, we need to indicate it through true love. And so I'm using true and love as an acronym. In true love, the first thing is trust is engendered. So when you look at this, which is very common at Piccadilly Square, you can feed birds in your hands. Why are they coming? Because they can trust you. Secondly, in true love, respect for rules. The rules here are not fixated rules for what they call gender rules and all. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you give a promise to undertake a particular job. Are you sticking to that? Are you respecting that? That's your rule. Your value proposition. Companies have value propositions as part of their brand. What is your value proposition to the relationship? Understanding is shown. When there is true love, understanding is clearly shown. Then effort to make it work. True love requires effort to make it work. Now, love. You see, love is not without boundaries. We have boundaries. For instance, on Mondays, I can't reach out to my wife because Mondays are her busiest times for her work. And so I cannot reach her until after midday. So for instance, when I call my wife 1, 2 and she's not picking, the standard protocol is I have to send her a text. When she calls me twice and I don't pick, it means I'm in a session with a counselor or somebody else. And so she would equally send me. So limits are respected. Now, whenever there is love, there is also open-hearted conversations. Open-heartedness is important. It shows in your face, it shows in your posture, it shows in the attitude of embrace and warmth. Now, where there is love, your views are seen as virtuous. You are not dismissive of their views. The views of your lover are held as sacrosanct. And in true love, there is expression of joy. I would want to pray that each one of you working your way forward, you will learn to live your life, you hold on to your family, you hold on to your career, you hold on to your work, you keep a critical balance. My friend Dr. Emmanuel Hobson oftentimes says, if career persons pursued their career the way they pursue their relationships and marriages, many of them would have been fired from work. Albert Einstein says, try not to become a man of success, but be a man of value. You must be remembered for the significant contribution you make through your work and through your love life. So what's the way forward? To be a person of value, first, begin a conversation with whoever is in your life. Ask them questions. Listen so you understand. Don't listen to respond. 2, be observant. Take notice of the change and the reactions and responses of the people around you, your children, your spouse, your relatives, your subordinates, the people in the office, and learn to realign yourself. Thirdly, practice. It's important to take a risk, try something, flounder, fail, make a mistake, blow it up, but try again. And then get feedback. When feedback comes our way, we need to receive it, we need to review it, and learn to relive what is being proposed. And so this is my humble submission to all of you. It's important never to lose this bit, that love always dignifies people. It doesn't demean. So if you found yourself in a space where you're demeaning people you love simply because you've got to get the milking cow or you've got to get a fat check, then you must watch it again, because love dignifies, doesn't demean. Thank you very much. And I end with a story. And it's a beautiful story my wife gave to me, knowing the work I do. He says, a very poor man lived with his wife. His name is O. Henry. One day, his wife, who had long hair, asked him to buy her a comb for her hair to grow well and to be well groomed. The man felt very sorry and said to her, he said no to her. He explained that he did not even have enough money to fix his strap of his watch that he had broken. She did not insist on her request. The man went to work and passed by a watch shop, sold his damaged watch at a low price, and went to buy a comb for his wife. He came home in the evening with a comb in the hand ready to give to his wife. He was surprised when he saw his wife with a very short haircut. She had sold her hair and was holding in her hand a watch band. Tears flowed simultaneously from their eyes, not for the futility of their actions, but for the reciprocity of their love. And he says that to love is nothing, but to love and to be loved by the one you love is everything. Do not take love for granted. I wish you all the best as you seek as successful leaders to win with work and not lose love. Both can grow. Love and money can find equilibrium. I am confident you'll be able to do it. Thank you very much for your kind attention. That's my plea. Let us all put our hands to the wheel and work together to achieve the best. Thank you, Brother Sam, for the opportunity. I'm grateful, eternally grateful for the opportunity. Thank you once again.
My name is Eliza.
My name is Elsie.
My name is Ebenezer Tufo.
This is Rosemary Robert Gacy.
Over the past 14 weeks, I have been part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey, and it has been a blessing for me. I want to share my lessons with you.
Indeed, my attitude to life has never been the same. On the very first day I joined the virtual Personal Growth and Leadership Masterclass organized by Center for Transformational Leadership CTL Africa under the tutelage of Mr. Samuel Ayim.
First, the law of intentionality. Second, the law of design. And third, the law of the rubber band, the law of expansion.
The law of intentionality, the law of awareness, then we have the law of the mirror.
Looking at how intense these laws are and how much impact they're supposed to make to our life.
My value obviously is not the same. The program indeed satisfies my quest for knowledge, so I encourage you to be part of this journey and also become an encouragement to others.
I will recommend CTL Africa to everyone who hears about us.
It has been a blessing to me, and I will encourage you to be part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey.
So we thank Mr. Yim, and we thank CTL, and thank you for listening to us.
God bless you as you make a move today.
I've been blessed, and so you'll be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, Amos. I was just writing, and my notepad is almost full. But guys, this presentation will be available. It will be shared, but Amos has gladly pointed us to his YouTube, his Facebook. There's so much there. He's doing so much in this area. And so please feel free to contact him. And he's giving so generously. He's on various radio stations, CTFM, everywhere. And he's talking about how you can make your life meaningful. And I agree, as Hilary said, life is not just work. Okay, so please go ahead and let's hear your comments. Thank you so much, Amos, for this very, very, very wonderful presentation. There's so much in there to chew. So I believe that we're going to have a lot of questions and discussions. So I'm not going to waste time at all. I'm going to go straight into the platform and see what people are saying and share them with you and see your comments. All right. So, all right. There were others who continue the discussions about prioritizing relationships. So we have relationship with God. Somebody has children, career, and friends. That's Douglas. Natalia says the write-ups were not so visible. All right. Maybe your phone was a bit okay, but that's fine. We'll get it to you later on. And Natalia said, for me, I see there is not much commitment on some people's part when it comes to love and career. So the question of commitment, I believe Amos has talked about love is work. So sometimes we just, so maybe Amos will come back and underscore that a bit and see what is commitment and so on. That's Natalia Quedri. Ekana Balandia, all the way from Tanzania, says good evening. And Rosodai said relationship with God, husband, children, and career. Isaac Jangba was just joining us from Tema and says insightful and educative. Thank you, Elder Amos. Thank you so much. All right, so I have Regina. He says love comes at a cost. Love always dignifies people. That's Natalia. Samuel Lamte says wonderful. Thank you, sir. Love does not demean. All right. Thank you, Natalia. Very active today. Do not take love for granted. He repeats. Richard says, great. And respect is the key. Petrina Boatima says, interesting. Dinam Zoeku says, awesome. I'm looking for questions. Great presentation from Samuel Ahiave. Miriam Boite says, we can win with both money and love. That's true. Miriam says, awesome presentation, Elder Amos. Natalia Kweji says, I think there was much stress on love aspect, but not on the work bit. All right. So Amos, feedback for you there. can he clarify? Okay, so this is a question from Natalia. Can he clarify per the order of preference the three aspects or emphasis he required us to be answerable for? So he wants to know what is the preference order, what is the emphasis there. All right. Okay, I think I'm not seeing any questions. Let me see. Dennis IA says work is not the ultimate. Cynthia says insightful and God bless you. All right. So I just Amos, I'll come back to you to just comment on some of the comments, and then we will see there will be more questions. I have a few. Sarah is also on the line. I'm sure she has a few questions. And so we will come. Let's see what you say about some of those comments.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for all the feedback and the generous comments that have come. Indeed, commitment is needed in this life. And anyone who wants to achieve any meaningful endeavor or want to attain any goal in this life, we know you have to be committed. It is said that those who attain great heights did not attain them by mere flight, but they, whilst others were asleep, were burning the midnight candle. That clearly tells us that work is invoked. And so that is something we cannot wish away. Now, there was an observation that there was a lot of emphasis on love, but you may also note that I talked about things relating to work. My focus was not to give you career enhancement coaching, because many of us are doing that already. What we are struggling with is to keep the critical balance between work and love. So my emphasis has been how to create an equilibrium and ensure that whilst you're winning at your work, you're not losing at the love. And so I've shown you why it's important to keep love in that equilibrium equation, and also to see to it that you win at both. So you don't need to sacrifice work for love, neither must you sacrifice love for work. Both of them can be pursued with the grace and the strength that you have. Now, sacrifice is also very necessary when it is that we are pursuing this career path as well as coupling relationships. And so each one of us, in aligning our priorities right. For instance, in one session, a lady said to me that, oh, I put work above my relationships. That clearly has consequences, because when your significant one feels that they come second to your work or second after your work, what then happens is that many will inadvertently undermine your efforts at work. And I've seen quite a number of cases where the other person feels that work has taken over their space, and therefore they protest. And the vehemency with which they protest is scary. So inadvertently, what they're doing then becomes counterproductive in terms of your pursuit of your career endeavors or ends. So many people will say, well, if that's the case, then I distune, I disconnect. And they may be in the same house. People are living in 5-bedroom house. They can't even fit into the 5. Go to Agbogbloshe and you find people sleeping in kiosks. They are 10 or 8 and they are soundly asleep. So the question is, what is it that is producing this discomfort in the space? And it is because there is imbalance. And that imbalance must be cured. I know young people who tell their parents, oh, so today too you are going. Because they see their parents all the time on the go. Parents don't have time. I was PTA chairman for a school for a very long time, for 4 years. And for the 4 years, many parents I never saw them. Many parents. You know, one 16-year-old girl whose father was a clergyman said to me, they took away my father and gave me an apostle. Think about it, for a 16-year-old girl to say this, that they've taken away my father and given me an apostle. It tells you that she has lost the relationship with the father. You know, the late Dr. Mary Grant was asked a question. You've been a Council of State member, you've been a Minister of Health, you're a medical doctor, qualified medical doctor. How do you juggle that with being a wife? And she says, when I step at the door of my home, I put doctor at the doorstep. I put council of state member at the doorstep, minister of health at the doorstep, and I enter my home as a wife. This is one person who clearly has identified that she must learn to be a wife and she must learn to be a professional. Some have not been able to do that. There are men who watch Chelsea Manchester, sit at a pub, and celebrate the scoring of goals instead of sitting with their children to do homework, instead of taking their wife for a walk or going with their wife to the mall for shopping. They'll prefer to go and sit with the boys. If you do that, it means that there's lack of prioritization in the relationship that you're pursuing. That's what we want to kill. If we can deal with that, it will help us a lot. So, Brother Sam, I defer to you and Sarah. I haven't seen Sarah today that much.
Okay, let me bring Sarah up. All right, thank you so much.
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you.
That's Sarah out there.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And commitment is work. It's not just saying I'm committed, but all the things that Amos has taught us and the things we need to do, the clues he has given unto us, the questions we have to reflect. If you're following them, that is the demonstration of your commitment, because commitment is not a theory. It's the action that shows commitment. It's not just say, I'm committed to you, and so on and so forth. So I believe that this is good. And when you share about somebody says they're taking my father and they're giving me an apostle. I tell you, when I used to work for EcoBank, I mean, we used to spend all the time in the bank, and one day, I mean, one of my colleagues came to work. She was a bit down, and I said, "My sister, what's the problem?" He says, "I think they had planned something with his children, and we had some work to do." So she told them, "You know, I need to go to work. You know, it's EcoBank is the one." The children said, "Mommy, please, we don't want to hear EcoBank in this house again."
Wow.
We don't want. And she was like, "What do you mean?" Say, "Yes, we don't want to hear EcoBank in this house." And so she came and she was just down, and she said, "I said, we're losing our children, you know, because we think that this is what is paying for the fees." And I had the same experience recently when I said, "Okay, now after I've left EcoBank, now I'm a bit free." I said, "Guys, can we do some monthly family meetings?" And everybody said no. And then I said, "What do you mean by no? We have to." They said, "No, but Daddy, you don't even know us." I said, "What do you mean by I don't know?" I don't know. I mean, for that month, it was really got to me.
What you are saying is making me sweat.
I'm telling you, I mean, like they said, "I don't know them." I said, so I just had to spend time reflecting. How am I going to get back to know so that these kids will know? And this is the time they already started going out. So they are in England, was Canada, was there doing their stuff. So actually, they really didn't need me. And one of my colleagues also, and this is a very serious situation. One day, I think there was something that we discussed, and she said, "Oh, they said you should teach your children about love, about sex." Then she had 2 daughters, and she had not. She said, "Let me cry my daughters out. We've never talked about sex. So this evening when I go home, we talk about it." So she calls the children, "Hey, girls, come. We have to talk."
Hey,
"Mommy, what is it?" It was like they were strange. Like, what's going on? What do we have to talk about? Sit down. It's just we have to talk about sex. He says the children started laughing. So they laughed. He said she was so confused why they were laughing. He said, "Dad, Mommy, you want to talk to us about sex?"
We already know it.
We know all about. Okay, we will talk to you about sex.
Oh, my word.
I mean, so it's true that sometimes our work that we think is paying the bills, is paying for the house, can actually take us away from our families. And this is really, really difficult. But the question is, we are required to go to the work from morning. In Accra, you wake up at 5 o'clock and brace your traffic and go to work and brace another 3-hour traffic. By the time you come home, Kevin, I mean, Amos, Truly. How do
There
we
are
do
times.
this?
All right.
Yes.
So let's look at a few scenarios. I mentioned seizing the moment
Yes.
because as it is right now, we all, when it comes to time, time is a luxury. Now, the first thing is to be mindful of the need for that.
Okay.
So, for instance, I had to cancel some appointments to drive my daughter to go and write her Cambridge exams myself because I want to be a dad. And one of the things that struck me was when my friend Dr. CJ Buckman, who is a men's coach, is living in England, had been invited to a full gospel businessmen conference to speak. Meanwhile, his son had graduation. And he had told his son he was going back to Ghana to speak at a conference. And CJ shared this in a public platform, so I can share it. He said his son looked at him and said, "Dad, are you going to Ghana?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Okay." 2 days to the time, his son goes to him and says to him, "Dad, can I have a word with you?" And he said, "Okay, what is it?" Then the son had a question for him. He said, "What shall it profit a preacher man if he gains the whole world's men only to lose his own son?" He said that set him thinking. He had goosebumps all over his body and therefore needed to take quick decision. He had to call Accra and cancel the program with an emergency call that his son needs him. Explaining to the leadership, they accepted. And he had to go to that event. So those of you who are parents, your child may be involved in sports, spelling bee competition, or an Olympiad. Can you spare yourself some time just to stand there and watch them? Or you pretend that is not part of what you have to invest in? A lot of children, I've worked with young people for 31 years.
Wow.
And a lot of young people will sit with you and tell you how their parents don't know them. And their parents think they know them. And it's always a laughing matter when a parent pretends to know his children and the children tell you don't know us. But for the parent, it's not a laughing matter. It's a serious setback for them to feel that, with all the expenditure, it's not the expenditure. Because you may be a progenitor, yes. You may be a provider, but are you present? And especially for us as fathers, I remember having a conversation with SIC men and asking them, there's a whole phenomenon known as the present but absent father. He is at home, but he's on his phone. He's in a Zoom meeting. And he's having Zoom meetings back to back without noticing that there are human beings in the house. So just going out to the grocery shop to buy cookies for your children in between Zooms is enough statement to show you are present. Unfortunately, some lose that. They would rather have conversations with colleagues for hours on end. They don't even send a WhatsApp to their children who are distant from them. One time my vehicle had a problem and I was giving lift to Tetekwashi by a neighbor. And I was amazed. This is a Christian woman, so I'll share what she was doing. And they were having their morning devotion in the car. While she was driving, the son was reading the Daily Power. And he read the scriptures and everything, and the mother was asking him questions, and they were discussing. I sat at the back observing them. And for me, that was the first time I'm seeing a parent who intentionally is taking that route to do a devotion simply because they have to meet deadlines. They have to traverse traffic situations. So you may also have a liturgy in your religious persuasion. There's no time. You're leaving early, you're coming home late. Can't you use the drive time, an hour, 2 hours, for other connections? Or you sit, everybody is on their phone, and you drive and drive and drive and drive, and then you say we have no time. Meanwhile, you have spent 45 minutes, an hour, which is luxury, which is expensive, it's costly. So for me, the awareness that I have this opportunity to engage, to connect, is what is lacking in many respects. If we gain the awareness, we would then begin to prioritize it and make it work, because we are all capable of doing that.
Great, great, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And since I had that experience, the one that is still here, I started doing one of the things you were trying to do. Actually, we do our devotions in the car, because I decided now I stopped the Uber taking her to school. I took her to school now.
Yeah.
And then we started doing the devotions in the car. In fact, recently we were reading The Richest Man in Babylon in the car.
Oh,
So
yeah.
read a chapter, and then we'll go through it. And it's I don't know what she will say at the end to the others, but we'll see how that was. She's the last one, I think. So I'm trying to be more further than the first ones.
You're compensating.
I have to. Thank you so much, Sarah. I don't know if you have anything. We have some few minutes.
I love the way that Amos is telling us to be intentional about it, and also not just intentional, but find creative ways. And I love that creativity, that we seize the opportunity, whether it's at home, in between Zoom, because that is our way of life for the past 2 years, to pop out and do that. So that is really good. Thank you. But Amos, I'm just thinking, as parents, we didn't see this as a way of growing up. So we have to learn. Now that we are learning, how can we pass it on to the next generation?
All right. Thank you very much. As long as we are not bedeviled by the theory of you can't teach an old dog new tricks, which is a very common mindset in our part of the world. And I always raise an issue that I observed riding in a speed train from Frankfurt to Amsterdam. And I sat in the side of the coach, and I saw a dog lead a blind woman to the restroom. And the woman held the latch and just closed the door slightly. As soon as she flushed the toilet, the dog lifted itself and led her back to her seat. And I said to myself, how can we in Africa tell ourselves you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Now, that is resistance to change. It is resistance to unlearning bad behavior, bad patterns. And so it's important that we do not get into that space as parents. And we should learn from our children as well. It's not only us as parents who know it all and have it all and be it all. That's a dangerous place for a parent to be. The other day, where I'm doing the Zoom is my in-laws' home. My brother-in-law's ghetto is where I do it from. And one day I had wore my t-shirts, the round neck t-shirts that the boys wear around. And I was in my shorts and a flip-flop, and I said, oh, I'm going to the nearby barbering salon. My older daughter stood there and said, Dad, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to the salon just here. He said, and you're going in this? I said, what's wrong? He says, no, you have to be in a polo shirt. Not this. This is an undergarment. And no kidding. I had to return to the room, put on a polo shirt, and go to the salon. And she was happy. Now, do you know that this child is not going to resist you educating them on anything, because they have seen that you treat their views as virtuous. And for me, that's in the true love. Unfortunately, many have become dismissive of their spouses, their children's perspective on matters, and that hurts to the core. So parents need to begin to unlearn some things, relearn, and we grow together. Otherwise, we would lose it.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you. Samuel,
You're welcome. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much. Let me see if we have a few more comments coming through. Okay, Carlton Stoldoff. Sorry if I missed the name. Says thank you so much. Natalia gives us some more comments. Very good. She says children have a lot of talents. Parents can even capitalize on to entertain themselves together with the children. Very great.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah, like Amos's father trying to behave like somebody else.
A lion.
Yes, Doris Atta says most children are really being affected by their parents' absence in the home. All right. Okay. Let me see. There's any new thing. All right. She says, I think every family has to choose their own balanced lifestyle to fit them all. All right. So, all right. Natalia has more comments, just affirming. Uh, all right. So,
There's something from Hajia, which is very great also. She says,
okay. Let's see what that's how
yeah,
that says. Go
she says,
ahead.
love the ending of creating time to bond.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. So just those are the few other comments. So since there are no more questions, I would just want you to give us your final closing remarks. And
Okay.
as Amos does that, oh, there's a question coming
That's
through
the
just
question.
from George Nicholas SL. He didn't want you to go. He wants more from you. What do you think working at home occasioned by COVID can help us achieve? Okay, maybe do you think working at home occasioned by COVID can help us achieve this balance? Do you
All
think
right.
so?
Okay.
How can you advocate for corporate organizations in Ghana to accept this work model? All right,
Mm.
Well,
so maybe
thank you
a
very
word
much.
on working from home, because what I also learned was that people were actually families were adding more under stress when they were working from home.
You know, there's a phenomenon I've tried to explain on radio. In the heat of the lockdowns, you notice that agitations and violence and aggression had accentuated across the world
Yes.
because we were unfamiliar with that kind of model. Here we leave very early from home, come late to the house, and we just go to bed, most of us. Now, suddenly, we are not going anywhere and we are within the space. So, what happened were three things: we were in each other's face, within each other's space, and in each other's face. So, I'm on your case, I'm in your space, and I'm on your face. That became overwhelming for a lot of people. So, the slightest thing, conflict ensued. Now, here we are. We have now come to accept that as a new default or a new reality. And so, those of you who go to my page, you'll find how to live in the new normal. It's available there on my YouTube. You can go and watch it. That one was done for women, but the principles basically are generic and applicable to everyone. Now, like I talked about, being in awareness and intentionally prioritizing your activities in such a way that you create time for everything and anything that relates to you and others within the domestic setting. If you lose sight of that, it is going to be practically impossible to leverage on the work you are doing at home. I do a lot of Zooms at home as well, but I also ensure that I'm present and involved. You see, it's one thing being present, it's another thing being involved. So let us be aware of the changing scenarios and situations of life and modify our lives or realign our priorities so that we are able to optimize the outcome that we expect. If we don't do that, we'll be losing on both sides. And so, those of you may have heard me, I've been advocating now for Lovers' Day in the corporate space because I've seen great dividends in it. When your lover becomes your brand ambassador, it comes at less cost and they become a great asset for the growth of your company. So, for instance, one of the things I'm doing this year is when I'm invited to an event, I get my wife to come and she has a product for families. So she talks about it. 5 minutes she talks about it before I speak, or 5 minutes she will speak when I'm done. Why am I doing that? I'm doing that because I have understood the work she's doing, and I know how much it will impact families when families spend properly and don't waste their resources, and then also save for the future. So each of us needs to make a case for that space. A lover's day, it won't cost companies that much. A day where people are dating, who are courting, who are married, they come. Company, HRs or head of corporate, whatever division, they share a vision of the company and get the buy-in of these lovers and these spouses. And I tell you, they become a great support for the staff who are in these working spaces. Otherwise, there will be these constant feuds, tensions, agitations, and jostling for place and notice and all that in the marital space. And it has effect when the people come to the workplace. Because there's a relationship between your productivity and your love life. So when you start suffering some psychological distress in a relationship, when you go to the office, you are morose, you are downcast, you are downhearted, you are beaten into pulp. Now, how do you get out of that space? Unfortunately, many of the workspaces rather would worsen the situation by piling work on you because there are deliverables, there are KPIs to ensure that you attain. What do you do with that? So let's use the work environment as a place to de-stress as well. Short naps, for instance, can be helpful for people within the workspace, especially when you're on break, not when there's supposed to be productivity. Unfortunately, people will chit-chat rather than take a short nap, sit in their seat, recline it, and just take a relaxing posture and rejuvenate, revive, and come back to work. So there's a lot that can be done by individuals, and there's so much that can also be done by corporate groups to ensure that we win at both love and work. On that note, as you requested, my final comment would be that yes, successful leaders don't only achieve productivity in the workplace, they also ensure that they are present and they are participating in love life. And the most painful thing is to be successful in your career only to fail woefully in a responsibility that builds society. Because what you end up doing then is that you endanger the future of the entire society. And so may we all go out of this place reflecting on these nuggets that I've shared with you. They are in no way exhaustive in this short period of time, but we can add on to the learning. We can expand the scope of the discussion, and let's share with friends when you receive the resources. Share it abroad with friends, and let us bless a lot more, because it is the way to go. I am, therefore, we are, therefore, I am, is the Ubuntu. We're told it takes a village to raise a child, an African proverb. But I've learned that it takes a community now to produce strong relationships, because nobody is an island. And so we are a community of people, CTL. Now, CTL is a community of its own. Those of us here, we can share best practices, nudge each other, sharpen each other, and grow together as we learn together. Thank you very much, my dear brother Sam and Sister Sarah and the team, Abigail, and all that you have. I'm so grateful for the opportunity offered me, and I look forward to the future. God bless.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you so very much. And we appreciate you. And we thank everybody who has been on the call. This has been the Leadership Platform. If you're going to be able to influence the world, you have to be able to balance your work and your love life. Life is not just work. If all that you are doing is work, you've lost life. So we encourage you, because your leadership is affected by your love life, whether you like it or not. So we thank Amos so much, and we thank God. And we thank all of you for joining us, and we request you to continue to share the links and to be able to invite others. Until next week, when we bring you another great speaker, and I'm excited about next week. All the HR people on the call, please come onto the call next week and come and learn. You to invite your HR managers and all your bosses, and let us learn about leadership and leading people. Thank you so much. And we encourage you once again to register for the growth journey we've shared. Go to our website, go to our social media pages and register. The next cohort is starting in May, and we encourage you to share. Only 15 people at a time, so please register fast. Thank you. Good night. God bless you.
My name is Eliza.
My name is Elsie.
My name is Ebenezer Tufo.
This is Rosemary Robert Gacy.
Over the past 14 weeks, I have been part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey, and it has been a blessing for me. I want to share my lessons with you.
Indeed, my attitude to life has never been the same. From the very first day I joined the virtual Personal Growth and Leadership Masterclass organized by Center for Transformational Leadership CTL Africa under the tutelage of Mr. Samuel Ayim.
First, the law of intentionality. Second, the law of design. And third, the law of the rubber band, the law of expansion.
The law of intentionality, the law of awareness, then we have the law of the mirror.
Looking at how intense these laws are and how much impact they're supposed to make to our life.
My value obviously is not the same. The program indeed satisfies my quest for knowledge. So I encourage you to be part of this journey and also become an encouragement to others.
I will recommend CTL Africa to everyone who hears about us.
It has been a blessing to me, and I will encourage you to be part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey.
So we thank Mr. Ayim, and we thank CTL, and thank you for listening to us.
God bless you as you make a move today.
I have been blessed, and so you be blessed. Thank you.